We have some late-breaking election news out here of the Rust Belt. President Trump has announced that he intends to sue both the states of Michigan and Pennsylvania. The president alleges that he did not have enough presence in the voting counting and wants them to immediately stop counting the ballots so that way he can get more people from his team watching the process. Also late in breaking, the Associated Press has called Michigan for Joe Biden. We're going to talk about all of this and more today on KUJH.
Live from the studios at the University of Kansas, you are watching KUJH TV News.
Welcome to KUJH. I'm Marcella Reeder.
And I'm Amanda Hansen.
The election was last night and several key states are still tallying up their votes. Currently, Joe Biden is leading with 248 electoral votes, closely followed by Donald Trump with 214.
There is no projected winner yet, as several states are still considered too close to call. Some key battleground states like Pennsylvania are saying that they may not have all the votes tallied by the end of the night.
The results are still being tallied as many states are working through the record-breaking number of mail-in ballots sent this election. Guess we will have to be patient to see which candidate will reach 270 electoral votes and be our next president.
Now we'll go to Matt Mitchie with a state election update.
We are now almost 24 hours past the first polls opening on Election Day, and there are a lot of very big updates from last night that we can take a look at. The first thing is the state of the map right now. Now, we don't have it up here, but Joe Biden has just been reported to win the state of Michigan. It is very, very close, so it's not guaranteed, but the Associated Press has said that it predicts that Joe Biden will win in Michigan. That brings his total vote total up to 253 electoral votes. Joe Biden needs just 17 more to secure a presidential victory. He needs 270. Of course, things are still very much up in the air. We're going to take a look at some of the states that we still have unreported. Now, we're going to look at all of these except for Alaska. Alaska is unreported. The only reason for that being is because very little of the count is in. That is a very, very reliable Republican state, so that's probably going to go to Donald Trump. But the first states that we're going to take a look at are over here, Nevada and Arizona. Arizona and Nevada are both two states that are leaning heavily towards Joe Biden right now. Joe Biden is leading in Arizona with 51% of the vote, Donald Trump at 47.6%. Fox has already called this race for Joe Biden. The Associated Press and other media outlets have yet to do so. So this is not a guaranteed win for Joe Biden, but it's looking very, very good for him coming out of Arizona. You can pretty much expect that Joe Biden is going to end up winning that state. Nevada is a much, much closer race, and Nevada is a very Democratic-leaning state. It's pretty shocking that this is up for grabs, but Joe Biden is at 49.3%. Donald Trump is at 48.7%. Again, this is just on the brink. I think Joe Biden probably has the edge, but we're going to be watching this one very, very closely. It's pretty critical to his win on this electoral map. Now, the next states that we're going to be talking about are Georgia and North Carolina. Unfortunately, both of these states, it's going to be a while before we get the final results in. North Carolina is still going to be reading mail-in ballots for a couple of days after this election, after today. Georgia is not expecting to have all of their votes counted until at least Friday, so we won't know the final results of this for probably quite a while. Right now, Donald Trump leads both of these. He leads Georgia 50.2% to Joe Biden's 48.6%, and he leads in North Carolina by 50.1% to Joe Biden's 48.7%. Now, of course, these are two very, very close races, but it's looking very good for Donald Trump in these two states. It's a pretty solid bet that he's going to win here, but again, we are still unreported by about 5 to 7% in each of these states. No guarantee that Donald Trump has these on lock. Now, we're going to move on to our next state that we're going to be talking about, and that is the Rust Belt. Now, if you paid attention in 2016 and all of the build up to this election, you will know that the Rust Belt is the single most important step in Joe Biden's path to victory. He cannot win if he does not win the Rust Belt states. Right now, Wisconsin has been called for Joe Biden, but he is winning by a 49.4% margin to Donald Trump's 48.8%. He only leads him by a couple 10 of thousands of votes. That is an immensely small margin. Donald Trump and his campaign manager have already stated that they intend to call for a recount. The margin is small enough that they are able to do so. So we don't know if Wisconsin is going to end up on Joe Biden's side. As of right now, it is called for him, and he desperately needs this state in order to win. This is a do or die state for Joe Joe Biden. The next state that we're going to talk about is, of course, Michigan. This is another state that is incredibly critical for Joe Biden. And as we said coming in, the Associated Press has also now called this for Joe Biden. But again, his lead is extremely thin. 49.8% to Donald Trump's 48.6%. If Joe Biden is going to win this election, he needs a win in Michigan and Wisconsin. End of the line. In 2016, if you want to look at any reason, numbers-wise, why Hillary Clinton lost, it's because she had crucial losses in Wisconsin and Michigan. She also had a crucial loss in our next state, that is, of course, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is also very, very close. Donald Trump currently leads 52.2% to Joe Biden's 46.5%. Now, this race is not nearly as one-sided as it might seem. Donald Trump has a 7-point lead or so, but pretty much every of the most remaining ballots are coming out of these very, very blue counties. So there's still a pretty strong chance that Joe Biden is in this in Pennsylvania. Now, we're going to take a look at what might be causing such a close race in this election. If you look here at Zapata County in Texas, this is not a very high populated county, but demographic-wise, this is a pretty big reason for why Joe Biden is struggling in states like Georgia and North Carolina. Hillary Clinton won Zapata County in 2016 with 65.7% of the vote. Barack Obama won Zapata County in 2008 with 68% of the vote. But Joe Biden right now is trailing at 47.1% of the vote. This is an extremely high Hispanic population county. Joe Biden is down with Hispanic populations all across the country. That is the main contributing reason to why he's struggling in some states. And if you look at Trump's external polling data, he is doing extremely well with people of color and women, a lot better than most Republican presidents are. In fact, he is about 26% of his total vote share right now is made up by this demographic. I think that's a number that not a lot of people expected, but he's down about 5% with white men. Now, we're going to take a look at some possible scenarios going forward here. If it is true that Joe Biden has won here in Michigan, then if he wins Pennsylvania, that puts him at a 290 electoral victory. If Joe Biden does not end up winning in Michigan and Wisconsin, or in Pennsylvania, then that is a good sign for Donald Trump's victory at 284. And an interesting scenario, if Donald Trump wins these Rust Belt states, Michigan and Pennsylvania, but Joe Biden wins in North Carolina, that would put us at an even 269 to 269 tie. Obviously, I don't think any of us, regardless of what we want to happen out of this election, wants that to happen, but we'll go ahead and see what happens as the days come.
Wow, you know, if we actually go into a tie, that would be crazy. I don't think that's happened in a while.
I don't think it ever has. I mean, I saw people on social media saying stuff about what could end up happening if it isn't a tie. It just seems totally crazy to me. Like,
yeah.
It's just wild.
I guess we'll just have to see now, won't we?
Yeah, right.
Okay. And the World War Museum and Memorial is left with vandalism on the building walls in the midst of the presidential election last night. Kansas City residents show footage of the messages left discouraging people from voting. Statements such as "Don't vote" and "Fight for revolution" are spray painted near the memorial's entrance doors. Early last morning, the memorial served as a place for the public to come in and vote. And shown early this morning, blue tarps are still being shown covering these messages. The memorial took to Facebook saying, "Today we'll clean this up and we hope that you'll do your part and vote and make your voices heard." And, you know, I think that's very important to make sure you're getting out and voting. But wow, you know, that historical building.
I know, it's so crazy. It's such a pretty building. It's sad to think of spray paint all over it.
Right,
but
well, at least those tarps will give some pizzazz,
yeah,
I guess.
Nice little color pop. As of right now, Lawrence businesses aren't preparing for chaos following the election, but might need to take precautions if violence occurs. KUJH reporter Carly Newcomb has more.
I'm out here in downtown Lawrence on Massachusetts Street looking at this building that has been completely covered with boards and even painted over where there once was graffiti from the summer protests. As you can see, this board is coming off. It is not stable, and even the paint is chipping. It's not looking too good, honestly. And I'm wondering if, as a result of the election, if the violence does occur, if this building will once again be the target spot for protesters. Cities across the U.S. are already boarding up, preparing for protest following the election. Lawrence stores aren't putting the plywood up yet, but it could be a possibility. History professor Gary Alexander says people react in a way that they think will bring change. He thinks there will be violence when the winner is announced.
And when you do that, when you're so worked up and you're so committed, like you said, your theory of change becomes open to sort of different possibilities that include violence. And there have been enough cases to suggest that violence has been going up, and I expect that will get worse. Because elections are contests, regardless of who wins.
Since we might not know the winner by the end of tonight, chaos could be avoided. An employee of Supersonic Music, a store on Mass Street, thinks there will not be violence.
I don't think the election's going to be determined anytime soon, so I think it's going to be a little bit more drawn out and hopefully won't see any violence.
This has been Carly Newcomb for KUJH News.
Thank you, Carly. And we're going to take it over to Jade to talk about the weather. Jade, how's the rest of this week going to go? And is the weekend going to be one to go outside?
You know, it's actually going to be a beautiful week. It's been a great day today, very pleasant in contrast with kind of the stressful day we've had with the election. Lots of clouds in the sky with temperatures pretty mild in the mid 60s, upper 70s. And that dry air that we've had recently is still hanging around. Right now, though, it is 70 degrees, lots of clouds in the sky, as I was saying, and pretty breezy with the winds coming in from the south-southwest at 12 miles per hour. Across the board, our temperatures, again, like I said, mid-60s, upper 70s, 69 in Topeka, 72 in Marysville, and then 72 in Salina right now. We have a satellite image showing the clouds cover that we've had. It's covering most of eastern Kansas, and that's going to continue through the rest of the day. But I have more on that coming up later in the show. Back to you, Marcella.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. I mean, it's hard to think that it snowed a week ago and now it's so beautiful out.
You know what? That's just Midwest weather, and I'm just glad we're gonna get a good weekend this weekend.
Yeah, I love it. There's been a lot of talk about red and blue, but something we haven't heard about is green. The Green New Deal is a plan to reduce carbon emission to net zero by 2050. The U.S. economy would run renewable energy and create jobs in clean energy industries. The deal is challenged by claims that it's too expensive and will eliminate jobs in agriculture. An alternative strategy is carbon pricing, which applies a cost to carbon pollution, hopefully reducing greenhouse gases. And a KU ecology professor says that this would be like putting a Band-Aid on cancer.
The key thing about the Green New Deal is it offers us the best possible hope. And like you asked me to talk about earlier, we know how to solve these problems. We simply have to want to do it.
Once the Green New Deal has been voted on by the committee, the would be passing it along to the House. This will definitely be a hot topic moving forward, regardless of which candidate wins the election.
I think that's absolutely crazy, just how much this is going to affect us.
I know, it's insane. I mean, regardless of what happens in this election, I'm sure it'll be a major topic that they'll have to address.
For sure,
yeah.
We hope.
Right?
And we're gonna go to a break, and when we come back, we will have Faith with Entertainment. Stay with us. Welcome back, and now we're going to take a look at mail-in ballots being counted for Douglas County. Several days away from any official results, there is still some concern about the mail-in counting process.
Voting is in full swing here in Lawrence as election officials at local polling places like the Douglas County Courthouse count the final ballots.
The first results Douglas County saw were from the advanced ballots turned in before 7 p.m. These were then combined with the precinct votes late last night. Now we wait as the ballots received on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are counted. Election official Jamie Shue addresses growing concerns about whether mail-in ballots are being properly counted.
We've seen probably this election way more anxiety about, will my ballot count? And so it's really important for everybody to know that there are processes in place that protect them. If your signature doesn't match, your ballot is not automatically thrown out. Our office will then contact you. We will help verify your ID, and we will fix whatever it is that needs to be fixed on the ballot for that ballot to count.
Shu says one of the issues he's seen with mail-in ballots is KU students from out of state trying to vote in Lawrence.
We're receiving them in our mailbox. We try to forward them if we can, but in our mailbox does not count for your state. So you need to make sure that you find out what your state needs or your county needs and that you get your ballot to them.
First-time volunteer Jessica Finley talks about her experience so far with helping people cast their ballots.
I think what I've been excited about is there seem to be a lot of checks and balances where everything gets confirmed by multiple eyes before it gets to the end part of the process.
The results become official on November 16th when the provisional ballots are added in.
For KUJH, McKenna Patchen.
Can you hear them, Faith? And I will throw it over to Faith Burling with entertainment. Faith?
This election cycle has inspired many people to get out and vote. Some of those are marking their first trip to the ballot. That list of the first-time voters includes some A-list celebrities. Motivations for that first path to the polls varied, and as you see, so did the reasoning, experience, and feelings these celebrities described after placing their first vote. Stars like Selena Gomez and Kelsey Ballerini say they chose to vote after realizing their votes do matter. Ballerini told her followers on Instagram that she was come to the recognition that the responsibility of voting. Gomez said in an appearance with Powerhouse Voting that she is her first time voting because she didn't feel as though her vote mattered. This election was also the first time that Mike Tyson takes a part in voting. Tyson originally was unable to vote due to his status as a felon, but has now been able to vote after his home state of Nevada recently restored voting rights to the felons once they are released from prison. Newly American citizens like Ryan Reynolds and Kobe Smulders also shared their excitement for their first presidential vote. Smulders also encouraged her voters to vote with the caption, "Boom, have you yet? Feels good." Finally, presidential candidate Kanye West voted for the first time yesterday. He shared on Instagram this photo with the caption, "Today I voted for the first time in my life for the President of the United States, and it's for someone I can truly trust, me." Kanye voted in Wyoming, where he was a write-in on the ballot. While Kanye has conceded for the 2020 election, he is in the talks about running again in 2024. That is it for entertainment. Now we will go to Jade with a quick look at the weather.
Hi, welcome back. I'm Jade Stevensmeyer with your full weather forecast for today. Very cloudy skies for eastern Kansas. You can see not really a lot of room for the sun to peek out. For today, it is cloudy. As I was saying, our temperatures are very pleasant, and that is going to last through Monday next week. And the dry air is still going to stick around up until then. 70 degrees outside right now. Cloudy with a pretty breezy wind coming from the south-southwest. Those clouds are going to stick around throughout the evening. We're going to get down to 63 degrees tonight, and our low will be 46. Those clouds once again still there, and the winds are going to pick up from the north-northeast at 13 miles per hour. Tomorrow is another beautiful day, 75 degrees. It is not going to feel like November at all, but there are no complaints here. Lots of sunshine and a very light wind from the south-southwest. The Chiefs play once again this Sunday versus the Carolina Panthers. Kickoff is at noon, and the temperature is going to be around the high 60s around that time, and by the end of the game, it'll be low 70s. And the one thing we want to focus on for Sunday is that wind. If you're sitting in Arrowhead in the nosebleeds especially, you're going to want to prepare for that. Another hurricane update. This is Hurricane Eta, and it made landfall last night in Nicaragua and Honduras and has caused a lot of damage so far, but unfortunately it is not done yet. It's actually going to keep moving over the land and then go back over the water, strengthening, and then it's projected to make landfall in Florida. So this is very rare to have a hurricane this late in the season and for it to be so strong. So hopefully the damage won't be too bad with that. Looking at your weekend forecast in Lawrence, bringing it back here, 73 on Saturday, 53 for our low Saturday night, and then another beautiful day on Sunday with a high of 71 with that extra wind as I was talking about. But look at this extended forecast that we have here. Lots of sunshine in store for next week. Temperatures in the mid 70s, and then that cold front will move in next week, starting on Monday, bringing us that rain that we needed and cooler temperatures. But that's all for weather for today. We're going to go to Danita for some sports.
Welcome back. I'm Danita Victor. This week in sports, Jayhawks will be traveling to Norman to face Oklahoma. KU is coming off a tough loss against Iowa State, but true freshman quarterback Jalen Daniels had some bright spots in last week's game. Daniels threw for 165 yards and rushed his third touchdown of the season.
Coach Miles he told me a lot. I've always wanted to be the guy to turn around a program, and I feel like I have the chance to do that with my teammates here.
Kansas soccer will return to Rock Chalk Park on Friday to face Iowa State. The Jayhawks were short of one goal to secure the win last week against the Mountaineers. Junior Rylan Childers scored her first goal of the season in the second half of the match. The team is currently ranked number 4 in the Big 12. And for Friday Night Lights, Kansas commit Devin Neal and the Chesty Lions will have a bye week after players on Dodge City tested positive for COVID-19. Lawrence High is currently 9-0 and will play again next week in the third round of playoffs. That's a wrap for sports. Stick with us after the break, where Connor is going to take us to Krispy Kreme to show off yesterday's Election Day promotion.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
Reporter Connor Heaton went down to Krispy Kreme yesterday to get us some donuts to ease the Election Day stress. They also had a free donut deal. Connor's got the story.
I'm at the Krispy Kreme location in Overland Park, where the pastry chain has promised a free sweet treat to alleviate some Election Day stress. Voting can be a tense experience, especially this year, but a necessary one. And to help increase voter turnout, Krispy Kreme is offering a special Election Day promotion.
It has gone well, and Krispy Kreme just thought this would be a good way to kind of lighten the mood a bit. Tensions have been kind of high. Of course, voting is a unique American right that we have, and it's very important, and we just did it to celebrate today.
All voters have to do is show off their I voted sticker.
It's kind of a thing, has been the last few years, of the I voted sticker. Krispy Kreme just thought they would provide a sticker for the folks. You know, if you may have voted a week ago, and of course you don't get a sticker in the mail, so we're kind of giving them ours.
And they will get a free warm glazed donut.
I'm in between classes right now for college, and since my voting area was right next to here, I decided to come get a donut. I got the free glazed one.
People can arrive via drive-thru or walk in to receive their tasty treat this Election Day. And workers say the voter and donut turnout has been high.
It's been steady all day today. We've had folks, it kind of comes in spurts. Not a lot of folks early, but it's been a steady stream today. Drive-through and walk-in.
This is Connor Heaton from KUJH News.
Wow, you know, delicious. I didn't get any donuts, but I did vote. So.
Right? Yeah, it's a sweet way to make everybody's day a little brighter.
Yeah, for sure. And that's KUJH News for November 4th. To view our stories again or to share them with your friends, visit our website at tv.ku.edu.
And check us out on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook for updates and live next week for the latest news, weather, and sports.
And thanks for joining us, and have a great evening. And you know what? I think we'll be here next week. But yeah, thank you for joining us, and had a good time.
Hope you enjoyed the show.